Chief Ben Raymond, if I had told you a year ago that in a year you and I are going to be talking about, you're going to be enforcing folks wearing masks on their faces and how many people are at restaurants and whether or not tennis courts and golf courses could be open, you would have told me what?
Yeah, you're crazy. Where'd you get that from?
You're actually going to be enforcing folks wearing masks if they're working and come in contact with the public. Is that kind of, I mean, you're not going out looking for it, but if you hear complaints, right?
Yeah. So, when you use the word enforcing, we will certainly respond to complaints. And if we're made aware of employees not following the guidelines as set forth by the governor, which is wearing the mask and ensuring that patrons are following the social distancing guidelines, and certainly we will respond and appropriately. I do want to brag a little bit, as we get started this morning on the businesses and citizens. To my knowledge, we have had to write one citation for violating either the governor's or the mayor's declaration in the last 6 weeks. And I can assure you that doesn't mean we haven't been responding to calls and helping to enforce them, but it's been because we've had a lot of cooperation from the citizens and the business owners in Shreveport, and I hope that we continue to see that for the next few weeks.
Okay. Tennis courts can be back open? Golf courses can be back open? Is that where we are? I'm hearing that.
Yep. So as of today, tennis and golf are reopening. There have been some amendments made by the facilities. So Shelley Ragel's made some amendments to the SPAR policy, and both Grady and Patrick have made amendments for Southern Trace, Piermont Oaks, their clubs, to help enforce social distancing and the protective measures to prevent the spread of any viruses at their facilities.
I know when the golf courses get up and going, I think it's going to be like one big opening, I guess, tomorrow. It's one per cart, one driver, one rider per cart. And I think the golf courses, both Corby's and Huntington, are going to close at 5 p.m. Do I have that right, Chief, or do you have it in front of you?
And I do not have that in front of me. I believe you are certainly accurate in the one per cart. I am not positive about the opening and closing times. So a lot of that specific information would probably need to come from SPAR.
I'm pretty sure that there's closing at 5. They're going to start calling folks in at 5. But anyway, Aaron's waving.
Churches that can open do outdoor services. That is something that a lot of churches are struggling with right now to get that up and going. But you're fine with that? It's the churches that decide to have indoor. That's not going to be allowed yet, correct?
Correct. So we've allowed to a degree outdoor services. The outdoor services thus far have had to occur with people staying in their vehicles and the vehicles maintaining 6-foot separation, which isn't that difficult. Generally when you park in a spot, you park a little far over on either end, you're 6 foot apart. There are some amendments being made at this point because people are now being allowed to exit their vehicles at restaurants as of today, which was part of the mayor's declaration, in order to pick up curbside food or to eat at outdoor seating areas. So there will be some amendments made, for outdoor church services. But again, you need to maintain social distancing, and you are strongly encouraged anytime you're out in public to wear a face mask or a face covering of some degree.
There's some confusion about the restaurant stuff. If I'm going to go eat at a restaurant on a patio, but, Chief, I want my second margarita.
Yeah, and she does. Trust me on this one, kid.
And do I call the restaurant and say I want my second margarita, and then I go to the counter and pick it up? Or do I have to go back to my car and get it? How's that going to work?
And I think a lot of that type of activity is going to depend on exactly where are you. So if you were at an outdoor dining facility and they've got an outdoor register bar and there was an attendant there that you could walk up and order, if they allowed it, the police are not going to. We're not going to get so restrictive that we're trying to enforce exactly how that ordering takes place. What we don't want is people walking inside or long lines waiting outside a door in order to put in an order. So, so as you're leaving your house to go to the restaurant, put the online order in, pick up your food curbside, sit down and eat it. You decide you want an extra drink. If there's an employee that comes outside and you have the ability to, ma'am, I want another drink or another hot dog, whatever the case is, that's going to be acceptable. But we don't want people waiting in line So we don't want to confuse the governor's order with thinking that restaurants are back open in full swing, because we still want to try to prevent the spread and maintain social distancing.
That brings up another question. Chief, if I'm going to get together with some friends and we're going to sit out and have a meal, we're going to order our meal, we're going to bring it to us, we're going to sit on their patio and eat it.
You got to go get it yourself.
I'll go get it myself. I'll go inside and get it, whatever I have to do. But I'm worried that might generate a long line of people waiting for those outdoor tables, and those people might not be social distancing. You see the point? And is that something you're worried about?
I do, and I am concerned about it. And then there's not, at this point, it's hard to say exactly how we'll handle it. Again, it's a case-by-case basis. I think it's important for everyone, and I've used this term before, to keep in mind the spirit of the order. The spirit of the order is, hey, stay at your house, maintain social distancing unless it's something essential. Going and eating food is essential. Going and hanging out with a group of friends to eat food is still not essential at this time period. And so if I'm going to go to outdoor seating and there's a line of people waiting, then I need to get my food and go eat it at the house.